The 805 Focus is brought to you in part by Nonprofit Connect. Nonprofit Connect provides superior leadership tools and resources so nonprofit leaders and board members can make valuable decisions to move their organization forward to a sustainable and vibrant future. More information on services online at nonprofitconnect.org.
Welcome to 805 Focus. I'm Dr. Cinder Sinclair with Nonprofit Connect, and we will be bringing you the latest on your favorite nonprofits. So get ready to be inspired. As you can see, we have a very special guest today. It's Charlie the Red-Tailed Hawk, and he is from the Santa Barbara Zoo. We also have Charlie's friend, Rachel Ritchason, and Rachel is the Director of Animal Care at the Santa Barbara Zoo. Welcome, Charlie and Rachel.
Thank you so much for having us today. It's so fun to be here.
Oh gosh, Charlie is so handsome
Isn't he?
So calm.
He is. Charlie is one of our ambassador animals at the Santa Barbara Zoo. He lives behind the scenes, but he comes out for animal experiences many times, and he's been at the zoo for almost 23 years.
Really?
So he is very good at his job of being an ambassador for the wildlife around us.
Good job, Charlie. 23. No, I would never have guessed. Look how smooth your feathers are.
Doesn't look a day over 10, does he?
No. So tell us more about Charlie.
Okay, well, Charlie is a local resident as well. So he was found as a chick on the ground, and a very helpful person took him to a local rehabilitation center where he was reared with every intent to release him to the wild. Mm-hmm. But in order to be releasable, he had to show signs that he would take care of himself. And Charlie never developed the desire to hunt for food for himself. So he was deemed non-releasable by a veterinarian at that time. And then he went through some training and came to the zoo just about 2 years later. So he's 25 years old now, and he's been at the zoo for about 23 years.
Gosh. Well, Charlie, we're glad you made your way here to the zoo and here today.
So he gets to participate in a lot of animal programs and experiences. We have wonderful educational programs, and Charlie can visit school groups, or after a scout troop has spent the night at the zoo in one of our overnight safaris, he will come out in the morning and greet them. And he's been doing that, and all of our animals at the zoo are ambassadors, even if they don't come out of their habitats. And we think it's so important that people get to know animals and the wildlife around them so that they can respect them and respect the environment.
Right. So you say he comes out to greet them. What does that look like? Do you bring him out like that on your hand?
I do, yeah. So when he's in his enclosure, he doesn't have all this fancy equipment on him, and he gets a lot of choice and control over moving throughout his entire holding space. But when he does come out, he has the lead strings on, and so these are called anklets and jesses, and this is all falconry equipment, very commonly used in falconry. And he used to fly. He's going to show us right there.
Ooh, he's showing off.
He did for many years. He would fly in our program, so he is fully capable of flying. But he, over time, as I call it his retirement, and I think he's entitled to some, slow and easy days. And so he just kind of showed us that he didn't want to fly anymore. He didn't really want to work anymore. So he's perfectly happy to come out like this and greet people. And he also is a wonderful bird for our keeper staff. So our animal care professionals, sometimes when they start with us at the zoo, they don't have the experience of handling a hawk on their hand.
Of course.
And Charlie is such a pro that he is so good at teaching and helping
them.
people learn. Yeah. In fact, 15 years ago, when I arrived at the zoo as an animal keeper, he was one of the first birds I worked with, and at Santa Barbara Zoo. And I learned to hold hawks and other birds, raptors, on my hands, like this, from Charlie.
Good job, Charlie, teaching
Yeah.
Rachel how to take care of you.
That's a wonderful little stretch he just did.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he's very intent and focused, but very comfortable.
Yeah, because you take him out different places all
Yeah,
the time. So
we
he's-
do.
So is he calm because you take him out a lot, or because he's a little elderly?
I think he's calm because he is very comfortable being an ambassador, very comfortable being with me. I've had the honor of working with him for 15 years while I've been at the Santa Barbara Zoo. So, like I said, he's a pro, and he's always happy to show off.
So tell us some things we might not know about what's involved in animal care at the zoo.
Well, we're a big department at the zoo, so we have
Yes.
nearly 30 people working in our animal care and health department. So we have 2 full-time veterinarians and veterinary technicians to provide year-round 24/7 care to all of our animals, whether it's our veterinarian pulling blood from a tarantula to assess its health, or doing an exam for Pauline, our 1.5-year-old African lion.
Oh, gosh.
Just got her first health check a few weeks ago. So we have a full veterinary team. We have a full nutrition team. So we have an animal nutritionist who's focused on giving our animals the highest quality food, and that's all USDA grade, it's all people grade food. But we don't eat their food. We leave that to the animals. And then we have animal care keeper professionals, and this is their full-time job to take day-to-day care. And we do things like provide enriching experiences for animals in their enclosures so they can use their bodies and their minds. And we try and elicit natural behavior that they might do in the wild. We do feed them. We do a whole lot of cleaning, so lots of scrubbing, lots of raking.
Yeah.
And then we also do welfare assessments on all of our animals to ensure that they are getting the highest standard of welfare, because we really believe in these animals living healthy and happy and fulfilled lives.
Yeah. So give me an example when you say experiences in their
So
area.
let's talk about the Amur leopards.
Okay.
So Marta is almost a year old. She's a cub that was born at the Santa Barbara Zoo, and they're critically endangered. So it was an incredible success to have a healthy cub. And she lives with her mom, Ajax, in the Amur leopard habitat. And we want to ensure that they have experiences and opportunities to do things that they might in the wild. We know they're not in the wild.
Yeah.
But what we can do is they come in so that the keepers can go into the habitat, so they go into holding enclosures, and keepers go in and set up maybe a food item on a spring, so or hanging, so that Marta goes and then she jumps and she pulls at it with her teeth, but then maybe it springs away from her,
wow.
and then she has to go after it and pull on it and work on it. So it's not just putting food down on the floor for them, but creating this experience around eating that is enriching for them. So they use their minds and their bodies.
And that's a response that comes naturally
Absolutely.
to that particular animal.
Absolutely. We don't have to teach that response.
Yeah.
Hi, handsome.
Okay,
Did you have something to say?
Yeah, Charlie, I think it's your turn. He says, yeah, what about me? What about me?
What's interesting about red-tailed hawks is movies, their call is often used in place. If you see a bald eagle or a golden eagle flying or soaring,
Really?
or they show an open canyon with a bird call, that call is very often a red-tailed hawk call.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, because they have that majestic long call.
So animal care, I would
Yep.
imagine you work with the education department too to help visitors and school children and whatever learn about caring for animals?
Absolutely. Yeah, we get to work with all of the different departments at the zoo. And, we work with education to share our expertise. So animal keepers will get the opportunity to share their stories with different groups of all ages. And, we also get to do field work with conservation and science. We get to go out and work with California condors, helping the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service crew do health checks on wild birds. Or perhaps we're out, counting monarch butterflies.
Wow.
Or spotting sea otters. So we have a lot of opportunities because the Santa Barbara Zoo really focuses on conservation in our own backyard. We can spare the resources for people. They're not going across the world for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
They're going out into the field for a day and
Yeah.
counting monarchs, which are such an incredibly important pollinator in our environment.
Yeah. And so a person can be a volunteer at the zoo, and
Yes.
you can teach them how to the animal care.
Yeah. Do you want to come learn how to be an animal keeper?
Sure. Yeah. Tell me how that works.
Yeah, so we have it's called a keeper aid program. It's
okay.
kind of a piece of our volunteer program that's managed by our education and human resources department. And they work side by side. After some training, they work side by side with our keepers. And the longer they're there, the more they get the opportunities they get to learn and work side by side. And we've hired many of our volunteers into our
really?
animal keeper team. And I think a lot of people wonder how to get started. And myself, I got started many years ago as a volunteer. I started as a volunteer, and I worked my way through college working at another zoo.
Oh gosh.
So I had a lot of fun doing that. And I love to see people doing that as well. And our time commitment, we only ask for 4 hours once a week, and people can potentially volunteer more than that.
Yeah.
But we try and make it doable. We understand that most people have to work as well as potentially going to school. But we have people of all ages who've joined our team as keeper aides, and they're invaluable. We could not do the work we do without them.
So when you think, animal care, when you think of all the different animals that you have there at the zoo, which one do you think is maybe the most challenging to take care of, or the most surprising, or?
I think it depends on the criteria you're using.
Yeah.
So, you might think a giraffe is challenging. Everything's really big, right?
Yeah.
Lots of heavy lifting, lots of raking, large enclosure, large holdings, and we train them using positive reinforcement, because similar to horses, we have to trim their hoofs.
Oh.
And so we train them to come into holding and put their foot up on a block and expose the end and let us clean out their hoof and do hoof treatments. So, that's challenging in one way. And in another way, working with a venomous snake, is challenging and takes a lot of extra training, very careful, close attention. So I think, we have people who specialize in all different sorts of animals, and we absolutely need that different expertise because it's so different, working with different types of animals.
Right, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
And so a person can go on your website and find out how to be a volunteer, or maybe even they can find out all the opportunities.
Absolutely.
And decide what they want to look into.
Absolutely. Yeah, there are open positions at the zoo. Every summer we need a lot of people to help us with increased attendance at the zoo. And we absolutely love that, bring on a whole new cohort of team members to experience the zoo firsthand from all sorts of different departments.
Yeah, and while they're on the website looking for volunteer opportunities, they could push that Donate Now button and they could make a financial contribution.
That would be wonderful. Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to give. There's even $5, helps the zoo with their conservation work. We do what we do because we love animals, and we want to see their wild counterparts thrive and be healthy and have healthy environments. And a good portion of the zoo's resources goes towards those efforts, not just on site but off site as well.
Yeah.
In the field, in the wild, in the beautiful Santa Barbara County and neighboring counties here.
And members, a person can sign up to be a member online.
They can, and a portion of their membership goes straight to conservation. They can feed the giraffe, and the money that they give to feed the giraffe goes straight to our conservation efforts. So
that's really
we want
great.
people to feel good about coming to the zoo and to know that, the resources that they're spending, they are going to a good cause, and that we're being respectful and responsible with what people give.
I'm so impressed with the complexity of what goes on behind the scenes that a lot of times regular visitors might not see or notice. I just really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I love is that every day is different, and that speaks to being behind the scenes. And I think my day is always a little different. Sometimes I'm working on text for a permit. Most of our animals need permits to hold them. California state permits and state and federal permits. And some of them are down to specific people are permitted to do certain work. And part of my job over the last 10 years was making sure that we were in compliance with all of our rules and permit regulations. And so there's always something a little different. Maybe I'm working on a permit. Maybe I'm, I get the joy of working with people now, not just animals, right? So I have a wonderful team, and part of my job is to help them along in their career and make sure everyone has the resources they need to take care of our animals as best they can.
Yes, and so now I understand that our Santa Barbara Zoo is one of only something like 236 zoos in, North America, out of 10,000 that is, how do you say it, accredited with the Association of Zoo something.
And aquariums, you've got
aquariums.
it. AZA, accredited by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. Yeah, if you think about how many USDA permits there are for holding mammals, there's over 10,000, but there's only 236 accredited members of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. We hold ourselves to an incredibly high standard, and part of those accrediting requirements are the conservation activities, the educational activities, the incredible animal welfare and animal health, all coming together to provide incredible guest services to our guests. And it's at the forefront of our mind at all times. So we're very proud of what we do.
Yes, as you should be.
And I'm very proud to be a part of the Santa Barbara Zoo team.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be.
So Rachel and Charlie, we have about a minute left. Is there anything else you'd like the audience to know?
Oh, well, I would love to say come and visit us.
All right.
Come to the zoo, and even if you've never been there, if you've been a longtime Santa Barbara resident and you haven't been to the zoo, come and check it out. And you can always let us know what you think. It's a wonderful place to share, and we have beautiful sweeping views
Yes.
of Santa Barbara, both the hills and the ocean. And so, you can bring a picnic, you can bring some food in, have a birthday party with us.
Oh, that's nice.
We're happy to share people's fun occasions with them as well.
That is great.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I bet now there's going to be a lot of people coming to check out Charlie.
Yep. And remember, he's behind the scenes, but you can check him out, walking around with our keepers sometimes, or you can ask about him as well.
Oh,
Yep.
all right.
Yep. We'll always, if you ask about him, we'll let you know when he's coming out next.
Well, Rachel and Charlie, thank you so much for being with us today.
You're very
and telling
welcome.
us this wonderful story. And thank you for being with us on 805 Focus, and we'll see you next time.